Hello and welcome everyone. Since you all know that June was a lipedema month and we've done a great awareness campaigns thanks to all our doctors, all our audiences who've been watching us and giving us a great response because there is a good awareness created for lipedema. Today, I take the pleasure to introduce to you MS Sita Lakshmi, who is a doctor by profession and is also a lipedema warrior. Despite of diets, exercises, and a very active life, never had an opportunity to lose weight and size in the lower part of the body. She then underwent surgeries and was the history. Let us hear from her what she has to say about her journey of lipedema.
Hello. Hi, everybody. Hello. I'm Dr. Sita, as introduced. I'm a cosmetologist also. I'm a doctor by profession. I'm a mother of two kids. I'm very active in my all the activities and also do regular exercise. I have a good diet and, of course, a good family. So, what is stopping me from having certain problems or letting me down? This was something that was a mystery, but I wasn't happy for most of the time. So every day I used to complain of dragging pains in in the lower part of the body, and most people would, when they see me, they would think that yes, she's just a normal woman with a normal kind of a size of the body. But if you closely see that I'm very thin on the upper part of the body, and then it's a pear-shaped body. This has been for a very long time, and that's why most of the common people or most of our acquaintances do not even mention about it that you are either in a wrong shape or in a some kind of a problem. So the problem is generally this kind of a shape or stature is called lipedema, that we had come to know, or just we have stumbled upon it a little later. But initially I was only thinking that I was overweight, and I did try some exercises and diet. The diet always had led me to very starving situations, and people used to recognize, they used to feel very bad to see me in that state. So I gave up that those kind of diets. Now the exercise I would prefer to do because it's not helping me anymore. The major problem was people were thinking that I was okay for my size and the shape, but I know that I'm suffering inside. So this is a typical history that most of the people know. We have identified that now as we have read the science and came to a conclusion. But at that point of a time, it was just a disturbance, a nagging kind of a headache for me. When will I get rid of it? Do I have a solution? Or should I be like this forever throughout my life? So this was always a question. Luckily, I have a doctor at home, so I could share certain things, but he was also not coming to a conclusion. That is Dr. Sri Nagesh, a cosmetic surgeon who's my husband. But he was also not at conclusion. So the first visit that we went to diagnose my situation was to a vascular surgeon, because I was always complaining of a dragging pain in the feet, which is more in the evening times. So always this sounded alarms that it might be some vascular problem. So the vascular surgeon has examined me meticulously, and he said that there's nothing problem. I could see some small bruises, small vessels on the lower part, that is on your thighs and other areas, but this should not be disturbing. This should not be directly related to the symptoms that you are telling me. So you are trying to imagine too much. Just take some painkillers, just do the activities, take some pressure massages, and just tell me after a month or so. So I religiously followed his advice, and I did do. And because I have to give him the feedback, and I also need to get rid of my symptoms, so which is bothering me. So I definitely did it religiously and found a little difference. So I kept my problems at bay for some time. That means it didn't disturb me for a very long time. But after a few months again, the same problem started disturbing me, and my activity and my active life is getting disturbed. Somehow I'm losing interest in what I'm doing. I'm looking healthy, feeling for the other people, but I'm not healthy inside. So this kept on disturbing me for a very long time. And finally, I said, "You are a surgeon. Why don't you see some alternative to this. It should be something related to the fat, because my shape is definitely not the same as like others, nor I'm obese like others. So what should be this? So being a plastic surgeon, he could identify that this is the problem. At that point of a time, he said, I still do not have an answer for your thing, but there is a thing called minimally invasive liposuction. I will get rid of the fat and this may work. This is the time we had an opportunity to go to Germany and explore the idea of this minimally invasive liposuction and limb sparing liposuction at Germany. So when he came back, he was excited that he found his right candidate for the surgery. But just like other women, any other women or any other client, I had my apprehensions to go through the procedure. So it took some more years to finally conclude that I cannot live with these symptoms. I should subject myself to the surgery. And therefore, I said, okay, if you are right, I'm subjecting for this treatment, and let's see, there should be some hope. That's how the journey began. And I did have a successful liposuction in 2 sessions, and I had seen great results. And today, when many people see me, they just don't believe that I did have like lipedema. Of course, I did maintain my exercise and diet, and I'm happy to share the results with a lot of people, because these are the same doubts and these are the same nagging problems that many people have. Maybe a stage little later, or maybe they may not experience all that I have said. But it is better to be cautious and better to be early than very late, where we cannot get good results. That's the hope I want to give to all the people who know me and who do not know me, and maybe in future we will meet up. So I would encourage all ladies, just not for the weight or the shape, but for other problems also, you should be cautious and think about this condition called lipedema. The stages and all, Dr. Sri Nagesh will mention, and I think he'll do the good job. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sita Lakshmi, for introducing and giving us such an insight. And like we all know, that this whole episode is done just to keep in awareness, which is lacking across. And we are doing a great job in sharing awareness, because yes, it needs to be identified at the right time and it needs to have the success happening along with it. I now take the pleasure to introduce Miss Mansa. She is a graduate and is a working woman with a pharmaceutical company. She was having her issues with pain, fatigue, inability to reduce the lower body despite of diet and exercise. Sometime with the worsening symptoms, which her family and friends could not understand. So we need to understand from her what really went across her life, because like we all see that these are the cases who are finding challenges even after a desperation of diets, exercises, but still not getting results, and that's where people realize that it's lipedema and it's not just the normal obesity. So from Mansa, we can hear what does she have to say on the same.
So, I'm diagnosed with stage 2 lipedema. So first I started getting these symptoms, heaviness in my legs, and couldn't walk too far. And I started getting bruises. So I have tried dry brushing myself and got some massages, but it was not helpful. So I approached doctor at Ojas Aesthetics. So then doctor diagnosed that I'm suffering from stage 2 lipedema. So, and then my doctor suggested to get a liposuction to remove that diseased fat. And I got it removed in 2 sessions. So the first session I got removed that lipedema fat from the back side of my legs, thighs and hips. And for the second session, I got removed from the front part of my thighs and legs. So, and then a little bit from the correction my doctor has done from the back of my thighs again. So my results are pretty good. I can say we can get a world-class experience at Ojas Aesthetic, and I can't believe this, that we are getting this good treatment at Hyderabad itself, because I was not expecting first. I thought I might have to go for 3-4 sessions, and my doctor got it in 2 sessions. So I'm feeling so happy.
Yes.
we have heard from Mansa, and this was a video presentation because she couldn't be present today, but she wanted people to know about what's happened. And I'm glad this is the kind of warriors who are coming out and sharing awareness, sharing their experiences about it. Uh, we have one more person who has been doing this well and has been helping us with a video presentation. Her name is Anshika. She's an architect by profession, has been having these conditions for her puberty, has researched the lipedema subject and contacted doctors in Europe. She was wondering if such services were available in India. This is something that we should be very proud that now these services are easily available in India, and we've been able to conduct this out for all the cases that's possible. So she found the clinic. She found us from the website called www.lipedema.com, a website that is designed specially to create awareness in India for a lot of things across. Thanks to Dr. Sri Nagesh and Dr. Sita Lakshmi for taking this initiative. She has fixed an appointment with Dr. Sri Nagesh and discussed in length. She came for a conclusion that she was at the right place. Rest we can hear from her in a video today.
Shika. So I actually had this issue from a long time, though I didn't know what is it. So while around the COVID time, I was kind of researching about it, and I came across this article written by Dr. Sri Nagesh. So I consulted him, and I came here for a consultation. I think that's the time I got to know what issue I have, and I think the information he gave me and the knowledge he shared, I think instantly I decided to go for surgery because I lost weight. I tried dieting and nothing really helped me. So I went through the surgery 2 years back, and I think it has helped me immensely with my daily routine, and it was amazing experience with him. I think he was very comforting. I think that's the most important thing, because you're so scared to go under the surgery and everything. So I think that was very very helpful, and I lost a lot of weight after that, and my shape completely changed. And it was like like say a new life given to me, because people say it's a physical issue, but I think it does take a toll on your mental health also. So I think it was like he literally changed my legs and my life. So yeah.
So this was from Anshika, who's been treated at by Dr. Sri Nagesh and has shared her experience. We have 200 people watching live, and I would just say this that the initiative of the clinic is done by doing these kind of shows, by putting up the time and getting this done. If each one of us does at least one share of this video, I think it can reach more voices, and that's the motive. We may not be the case, but we may be helping someone, and that could definitely help us doing great. I would now like to introduce Dr. Usha, who's present with us. Dr. Usha and Dr. Sri Nagesh, I would like to invite at the same time. A bit about Dr. Usha. She's the founder of Catalyst Institute of Profession Development. She's the CEO of VChick Image Consultancy and Image Institute. Can we have Dr. Usha with us? Welcome, ma'am, and we can have a lot of discussions with you. I would like to also have Dr. Sri Nagesh with us if he's joined in, so that we can have open discussions on topics and we can have all the experience sharings coming up from. Welcome, sir.
Hello, I am Dr. Sri Nagesh. Good evening.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Usha Yanamandra, your Image and Lifestyle Consultant. And I would like to thank Ojas for having me on this show.
Hello.
Yeah, if I have to say something, let me start by saying that I have known Dr. Sita for many years now. She herself has been a lipedema warrior, and it's so good to see how she goes out of her way to help other women in overcoming this condition. And I've also been observing Oja's aesthetics managing this problem of lipedema so well, and saw such good results. Just to give you a little info from what I understand here, the main symptom of lipedema is a buildup of fat in the arms and legs. So many women suffer this problem and do not know where to go. So the right diagnosis is what is important, that I would try to add to this. The only message that I would like to give to all the viewers here is, please do not neglect this problem, as the diet and exercise alone will not work. And if you find that you are doing all these things and you're not finding a solution, then please visit Ojas to find and get the right diagnosis done, if you're suffering from lipedema. As this condition may get worse, and it can affect your ability to walk if it becomes worse. So I've seen many patients with lipedema have emotional symptoms. They being embarrassed or anxious, or they get into depression without knowing, because there are no results happening in spite of going through such good diet and rigorous exercises. So don't get disheartened. We have a solution. Just come here to Ojas and get your solutions resolved. I mean, you have any problems, connect with us. And I'm sure Dr. Srinagesh and Dr. Sita have been great doctors, and they have a lot of such case studies and stories to give you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for having me on this.
Yes.
Now, as a plastic surgeon, I'm Dr. Srinagesh, and as a plastic surgeon, I would like to give my inputs about lipedema. Lipedema is a progressive disease which unfortunately has not been recognized by WHO until 2019, and was subclassified as obesity, as a pear-shaped obesity, and was treated as obesity, and with very poor results. People with this pear-shaped obesity, especially in women, this particular problem starts sometime during puberty, could progress and gets triggered off at pregnancy, or when they take oral contraceptive pills for child control, or when they have any stressful gynecological surgeries, or during menopause. Those are the times when there is a lot of shifts in and hormonal imbalances that take place. This has been found to have a relation with estrogen, and is also called a painful fat syndrome, because a lot of these people suffering from lipedema, who are affected by lipedema, they have various kinds of pains. It could be a very minimal pain, it could be tenderness, it could be pain on pressure, it could be like pins and needles, a dragging kind of a pain. They get fatigued very easily, and many of them go into depression because of this particular kind of pain. They bruise very easily. They develop a lot of spider veins in those areas where they have abnormal deposits of fat, and they become quite listless. In the early stages, of course, it may appear as quite nice shape and other things, but then as the disease keeps progressing, it becomes difficult for them to find proper fitting clothes. The upper half is a small as a S size, whereas the lower half they go in for a double XL or a triple XL, and they get quite disappointed, and some of them, they also feel that they're being ridiculed, or they're ogled at, and it's quite an embarrassing situation. So these are all different stages and things that happen with them. And as the stage progresses, what happens is there's a fluid accumulation in the tissues, causing a heaviness and dragging sensation, and it can progress from a lipedema to lipolymphedema to frank lymphedema. And when it goes into a frank lymphedema, it becomes extremely difficult to treat. So this particular problem is a team approach, where a plastic surgeon can remove the lipedema fat at when they come at an early stages, so that they get a very good relief from pain and other symptoms. The bruising reduces, the spider veins subside, the varicose veins, some of the varicose veins, if they're still in a non operable stage, where conservative management is possible, some of the varicose veins can get corrected, especially when there is a dragging of the veins, causing the twisting of the veins. And of course, the vascular surgeon can also has a very important role to treat the lymphedema part of the disease, and the spider veins and the varicose veins also. We have it's a as I told you, it's a team approach. Diet plays an important role. It has been found that a ketogenic diet, a low carb, a high fat diet helps to a great extent in controlling the lipedema, some of the symptoms, especially the pain and other things. Of course, exercise is very much essential to maintain the mobility and other things, especially low intense exercises like walking, mild jogging, cycling, water exercise, water sports are very useful for people having lipedema. And then we have the MLD, that is the manual lymphatic drainage, the dry brushing, the compression garments, and the sequential lymphatic pump. So compression pump. So these are all complementary to the management of lipedema, and people can get benefited. And if the disease progresses quite rapidly, and measures are not taken to control it, then of course excision surgeries may be necessary, and the results are also quite not as good. You can see the chart behind the body jet. This particular procedure is where we use the water assisted lymph sparing liposuction. Is a very good tool to remove the excess amount of fat from the body and give a good relief to the people suffering from lipedema. So
You've always been sharing all the required informations with us, and this is something that's been very helpful. And like I said, it's all about sharing and caring more and more things that happens, and this information needs to be shared with more people. Any last message that you would like to share with the audiences on today?
Yeah, one last message I would like to share is there are 5 types of lipedema, where type 1 is excessive deposition of fat in the hip area. Type 2 is excessive deposition of fat in the hip and the thigh area up to the knees. Type 3 is right from the hip down to the ankles, the feet are spared. Type 4 is when the arms are affected, and sometimes the forearm up to the wrist, and then the hands are spared. And type 5 are those patients where the legs look like cylinders, that is from the knee to the ankle, it looks like a cylinder. The contour of the leg is gone, and you might find some abnormal fat bulges even in the front of the shin. And it may be quite confusing if you just only look at the legs from the front also without looking at the feet. You might not know whether you're looking at the leg from the front or from the back. Then we have 4 stages of lipedema, and in the stages depends on the volume of fat that is being deposited in the region. The skin is quite smooth, and the fat is also quite smooth in stage 1. So there's a confusion whether it is a lipedema or it is normal. Stage 2, when the fat under the skin becomes a little granular, like rice grains, or like pea size nodules. Or stage 3, when the size of the fat globules increases to something like a walnut size or a small tennis ball size, and you start noticing the skin folds start to increase. But fortunately both the sides are quite symmetrical. You don't find, unlike in lymphedema, one side is large, the other side is quite slim. And unlike that way, Here, the deposition of fat is quite uniformly distributed on both sides of the body. And stage 4 is, when there is frank lymphedema, and even the feet also starts to bulge up, and the entire thing collects a lot of fluid, and it's a frank lymphedema where it becomes extremely difficult to. What happens is, as the disease progresses, mobility gets affected, the alignment, the center of gravity changes, and there is early damage to the knee joints, and they develop arthritis, and they have to go for knee replacements. So these all things can be postponed or prevented if they go for early treatment, so that the removal of the fat in the inner thighs and the front of the thighs can realign the knee joint anatomy, and the center of gravity is again goes through the knee, exactly in the center, and goes through the ankle and the feet, and they look quite normal.
Great. Ma'am, would you like to share something up?
Yeah. So what I would say is, now that the lipedema has been identified as a disease in 2019, WHO has classified it as a disease of fat and fat. So people, we have to be more cautious in diagnosing it. We have to. It's a diagnosis is an exclusion of other problems, and those people who are having these typical symptoms are only included in lipedema. So there's no harm in getting a diagnosis done and being safe than delaying it. And secondly, many women also are hesitant that everybody will land in a surgery if we come here. So that is not the case. It is can be managed in different ways, and we are here ready to explain the different ways that how it can be managed, how safely it can be done. So we would wish we are here in service of the people, and we recommend that they follow our website and our lipidemia Facebook group, so that they get more emotional support and more trust on us. Thank you.
Thank you, all the viewers, and we would be happy to put up any questions. If you have, you can drop them in the comment box. Dr. Sri Nagesh personally would reply to each one of you guys, so that if there's anything that you think, or if there's anything that can help someone, feel free to raise the questions in the comment box. Share this link. It's to help a lot of people identify in the early stages and put it up. So we are signing out from today, and stay tuned with our pages, follow them. We'll be putting up more shows like these and put them up across. Thank you, sir. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Have a great